Listen.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now, sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivate force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. Well, it depends on the circumstances and whatnot. Sometimes it's just a simple case of a black person trying to show themselves as being even-handed, you might say, decent, etc., etc., and sometimes it's out of fear. Self-preservation. They're letting that white person know, I'm not with him. Because if I'm with him, it ain't no benefit in that. If I'm with you, it is. Very simple. Because everything comes from you. It don't come from him. He's just running his mouth. If I'm going to get paid, I'm going to get paid by you.
Okay. Could you share?
You follow the logic in every situation. So you're not arguing with the person, you're arguing with the logic. And keep that in mind. It's not a personality contest. Because you're discussing the subject. The subject is the thing you concentrate on, not the personalities. You don't get caught up in the personalities. So if the black person says something in the so-called defense of the white person, you just keep asking the logical questions. Problems are solved by asking questions and coming up with correct answers. The black person says, well, I agree with the white person, Say, okay, well, why do you agree with what he's saying or she is saying? I agree because of, okay, because of what, and have them say why they agree. And then you look at what they're agreeing to and see if it's logical. If it's logical, you go with it, because you always go with the logic. And if it's not, you raise questions about that. You say, that appears not to be logical. And I'll tell you why. And then you tell them why. And then you move on, because what you're searching for is the truth. I don't care who's doing the talking. Truth plus justice plus correctness equals peace. That's the equation. First thing you seek is the truth. Don't compromise on that. So that's the only way you can produce a product called justice. Got to start with what is first. You don't want to make things up. Say things that are not true. That's what the racists do. White supremacy is not something you run into every now and then. Racism is not something that you encounter every now and then on a job. The whole job is racist. But I'm saying a person will say, I ran into some racists on the job the other day. I think there's some racism going on in that place where I work. Racism is the job. The whole thing is racist because the whole world is racist. There's nothing on this planet that's going on that is not racist. By racist, I mean what? That is not being orchestrated either directly or indirectly by those white people. Here again, I want to emphasize, not all white people. I never said that, but it's being conducted by those white people who have perfected the institution of white supremacy. That was a choice, and it took them quite a while to get it together, But when they did, it turned out to be the greatest political and religious force that the world has ever known. There's no religious system on this planet right now that's stronger than the religion of white supremacy. I want to repeat that. There's no religion anywhere on this planet. I don't care if you mention Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Sokogakia, Mormonism. I don't care what ism you come up with. When the white supremacists speak, everybody jumps. That's what you go by. When they speak, everybody jumps. Everybody falls in line. Everybody starts running. They're trying to get their babies in their arms and running across the desert. And they're reciting their religious creeds and all like that. But they are running from the white supremacists if the white supremacist says, you better run, because I will put a hurting on you. Yes, there is a God somewhere, but I'm your God, and you will obey me. That's the white supremacist creed. If you have dark skin, you will obey me. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care who you clap your hands to. I don't care how many hosannas you sing in your elaborate churches. When I step in that church and say, everybody out of here, you better get out of there. You better get out of there, and you know it. And you know it not by Neely Fuller telling you this, but by your own experience. In fact, you can't even establish a church without my permission. I'm your Roman emperor, and you ain't figured out how to get me out of that position yet, which means I'm smarter than you are, all of you put together, all of you black, brown, red, yellow people on this planet don't have nothing for me, because when I speak, you jump, and that's proof that I'm supreme. And you can talk about all that ancient building the pyramids all you want to, and I will tell you, yeah, have fun. Talk about how you did this and how you did that. But when I tell you to get up out of that chair, you will move. When I tell you to sit down, you will sit in that chair, and you won't move until I say so. And I prove this every day. Neely Fuller doesn't have to tell you. Just get in my face, and you'll find out in about 2 seconds who your God is. And I've always proven this. Now, this is the voice of the people who believe in white supremacy. I've never seen anybody who didn't back down when they decide to get rough. When they really decide to get rough. Now, sometimes people get in their face and say all kinds of things. But it's one thing, if you're intelligent, have a little bit of intelligence, you'll notice the white supremacists don't move until they get ready. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that, because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.